This is The Scoop for Thursday.
I'm Lisa Marzilli with the WMNF News headlines. Governor Ron DeSantis issued a proclamation yesterday calling for a special session in April to redraw Florida's congressional districts.
We are going to do it in the later part of April, partially because there's a Supreme Court decision that's going to affect the validity of some of these districts nationwide, including some of the districts in the state of Florida.
DeSantis disclaimed any political motivation, portraying the move as something the state would have to do since he expects the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn long-standing legal interpretations of the Voting Rights Act. House Democratic Minority Leader Fentrice Driscoll vehemently disagrees, arguing the timing is purely political.
No matter what DeSantis says, this is an illegal partisan gerrymander happening because Donald Trump asked for it. Trump wants to rig the midterm elections to prevent the American people from holding his administration accountable.
Senate Democratic leader Lori Berman of Palm Beach County said no matter what pretext the governor offers for mid-decade redistricting, Florida's Fair Districts Amendment strictly prohibits any maps from being drawn for partisan reasons. The special session is slated to begin April 20th. A bill filed Monday could lead to the restoration of North Florida's Ocklawaha River. WMNF's Chris Young reports lawmakers behind the bill are calling it their region's Everglades restoration.
The bill was filed by Republican Senator Jason Broder and Republican Representative Wyman Duggan. The bills would require the Department of Environmental Protection to develop a plan for restoring the Ocklawaha River, which is a tributary of the St. Johns River, to a, quote, natural, free-flowing state by 2032. It would provide grants and establish a local advisory council to focus on an outdoor recreation plan, economic development, and transition needs for property owners and businesses affected by the restoration project. Margaret Spontek is the executive director of the Great Florida Riverway Trust. She says the reason that this bill is different from past efforts is that it not only focuses on restoration, but also on people.
People have now looked at, well, let's look at how this is going to affect the people aspect of things, the users that currently use the reservoir, landowners, recreators in the area.
The legislative session starts January 13th. Chris Young, WMNF News.
The Florida Aquarium's Coral Conservation and Research Center, one of Florida's top coral producers, has reached a milestone. WMNF's Leah Burdick reports the center transported 9,000 baby corals yesterday to restoration partners across the state, where they'll continue to grow and support reef recovery.
These baby corals are expected to help restore at least 25% of the Florida's coral reef by 2050. Carrie O'Neill is the director and senior scientist of the Florida Aquarium's Coral Conservation Program. She says Florida's coral reefs have been under stress for years.
Florida's coral reef has been suffering from a lot of different stressors, most notably a disease event called stony coral tissue loss disease that actually started in 2014, and then we had a major bleaching event in 2023. And our reef is actually worth $8.5 billion to our economy in Florida.
O'Neill says the program has successfully grown 14 species of coral and raises tens of thousands of coral offspring each year.
Coral are the foundational organism that actually build what we know as a coral reef. They're like the trees in the rainforest. Without the living coral itself, our reefs will actually crumble and collapse. And therefore, you won't have any more structure or habitat for all the critical fish species, our lobsters, and that structure that also breaks down wave energy before it impacts our beaches and our coastlines.
She says without action now, Floridians will feel the long-term impact of disappearing coral reefs. The Reef Institute picked up 4,500 coral babies, while the Reef Renewal USA received 4,000. Both organizations will continue growing the corals before returning them to the Florida reefs. For WMNF News, I'm Leah Burdick in Apollo Beach.
I'm Lisa Marzilli with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.